open the video that is being streamed live. Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and use your keyboard to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis, or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button. Your comment will then appear in the chat for everyone watching the live stream to see. If you want to send another comment, just type it in the chat box again and press enter or send. Your new comment will show up below your previous one.
Muted, Mr. McKnight. Muted, Mr. McKnight.
For 2 days, Spanish Town, Jamaica's old capital and the commercial and political heart of St. Catherine, was convulsed by violence. Some schools closed early and didn't open on the second day. Businesses remained shut into Friday. Many major thoroughfares were blocked with burning debris, marked police vehicles slashed, missiles were thrown at heavily armed cops. Public transport avoided the tour. One business complex was scorched. People openly expressed fear of going near to or through Spanish Town. Good day. I'm Frankly McKnight. We are thankful to the Gleaner for those images. This is the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast, episode 152. Desmond Richards is with me today. Our special guest is Fenley Douglas. They call him Governor. He's a businessman and councillor in the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, SMC. That council meets in the center of Spanish Town and is partly responsible for the affairs of the old capital, though not its security, of course. MP for most of the area of the violence is Olivia Babsy Grange. Welcome to Councillor Douglas. We'll come to him shortly. On Wednesday and Thursday, January 22 and 23, Spanish Townites teeming in the city communities were seeing a common display of the rupturing of an old sword, peeling away the veneer of law and order. It has happened many times before. Sometimes not so much in the residential inner city communities of Taws Meadows and Ellis Bend as occurred this time, but there have been the overpowering violence in Gravel Heights, Trial Heights, Shadiga Park, where community faced the murderous rampage of bad men and their rifles, gangsters. Dozens of people left Shadiga, fled their homes, and left under police escort. We should never forget. Then again on Wednesday, Spanish Town came under the grip of lawlessness and violence when police sought to arrest Ophiel Thickman Loban, who they alleged was the leader of the One Order gang. The people said he was their savior. It brought back memories of Tivoli, where women had marched, some of them in white, to protect their Don. Here, in Spanish Town, they said the Don provided food, dental and medical professional services, back to school money, and he breaks up little foolish fights. On Thursday, when the reputed leader of the One Order gang was shot dead by police, Spanish Town flared, and it was all over again. We're going to explore that, but also the questions around police fatal shootings with nearly 20 people killed since the start of the year. Welcome to you, our viewers, live, and those who will watch later by clicking the same link. Feel free to comment on the space provided on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel. You may also send your comments during and after the show by WhatsApp to 876-503-9995. That's 876-503-9995. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Welcome, Councillor Douglas. We are coming straight to you, sir. Can you give us your opinion, your insights into why Spanish Town is like it is regarding law and order? We're going to come to you, sir, on the broader sense of opportunities that you say the Spanish Town has. But can you give us your insight into why Spanish Town is like it is, sir?
A pleasant good afternoon to you, Mr. McKnight. Good afternoon to your co-host, Mr. Richards, and afternoon to all our viewers and subscribers on this rapidly growing podcast, Frankly Speaking. Let me just state that Spanish Town has been a thorn in the neck of most persons from day one, meaning that we, the people, the system, I'm hearing a serious feedback.
Okay, go ahead. I heard it a little bit, but go ahead, Councillor Douglas.
All right. I believe that a part of the problem that Spanish Town is having is that the government, and I want to use not the present government, but the governments over the past, say, four decades, we have left Spanish Town to somewhat decay, to a level now where we, the people, right, because we're a part of the society, believe that where it is now, right, the people on the ground, the local, believe that their only protection and certain social services can only come from a Don. And this is an indication of where the government has failed its people. Because no community should be saying that they're expecting health facility from a Don, or they're expecting certain basic amenities that government should provide coming from what you would call a strong man. So the state has failed its people.
Douglas, I can't expect you to excuse yourself from the government, because the council of which you're a part, the parish council, the municipal corporation, is part of the superstructure or the infrastructure to create opportunities and social infrastructure and services.
Well, the parish council is what I would like to refer to as a local planning authority for the parish. And we have been doing our jobs. And I can say that by saying there are several plans that would have come into the parish council over the past decades that would have seen us crafting a better Spanish Town for people to live, raise families, and do business. I can give you several examples. For example, you have in the past 10 years, we would have had the Silver Sun scheme coming on board, Innswood scheme. We have seen the Orchard, and we have seen where we have transformed several agricultural land to residential lands, right? The highest infrastructural application in the history of Spanish Town is throughout the last 13 years.
The highest what? Say that again.
The highest infrastructural application for plans to pass for people to invest in Spanish Town would have been within the last 13 years.
Hold on a minute, sir. Maybe it's not the same Spanish Town we're talking about. Because when I go through Spanish Town, I see decay. I see drains that are blocked. And I mean, we know there's been a drainage problem forever. I see buildings which are partly torn down, which even on the way to the municipal corporation.
Well, let me state that a lot of the buildings that you would have seen that would be deemed to be derelict buildings are historic buildings. Buildings that would fall within another agency of government because they're historic. We still have Spanish Town as one of our area for tourism. And as such, people would come to still visit these relics and take photos, etc., because the history there is extremely huge. Now, what I want to look at
So just before you go on from there, so you are saying that the work of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation with regard to Spanish Town,
yes,
with regard to its present state,
yes,
you are satisfied with that?
No, I'm not satisfied. I would be extremely crazy to tell you that I'm satisfied. But I can tell you that we have done a huge amount of work over the past 13 to 14 years, the parish council that I sit in. And I want to just quickly tell you about some of what is happening, because the future for Spanish Town is pregnant with great possibilities, and I'm loving it as to the direction it is going.
Of Spanish Town. Well, I'd love you to tell us about those opportunities because
Right.
I hear from time to time that there are opportunities and you're a businessman.
Yes.
Plus a council.
So let me look at it from the economic side of things. You would have seen an old Burke Road, for example, right? You would have seen that road, Brunswick Avenue, for example, as just one of the old roads that is in Spanish Town. But we have transformed that road by working with our local partners and business.
Oh, are we losing? Did we lose him? Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It seems that we lost Mr. Douglas. We hope to get him back. He's a councillor in St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. He's a PNP councillor. The PNP controls the council, and he's saying that Spanish Town is not all doom and gloom, but there are many opportunities.
Well,
All right,
there's one thing. There's what. Here,
Hello?
he's back.
He's back. I don't know what happened.
Hello?
Also, Douglas, I don't know what happened, but go ahead. Go ahead, Councillor Douglas.
I'm not hearing you.
I'm hearing you. We're hearing you. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
I'm not hearing.
Okay. Let's see if Joshua can fix that up because we're hearing you, sir. So maybe you're muted. Desmond, sorry, you were saying.
No, of all that he said one thing that I record, because when it comes down to violence in Spanish Town, one of the things that we must remember that Spanish Town has been under the control of two politically connected gangs for decades. The Klansman gang, aligned to the People's National Party, and the one other gang aligned to the Jamaica Labour Party. And we must remember what has happened, that these two gangs have held Spanish Town at ransom for decades. Last week uprising is one of many criminal showdown in Spanish Town.
But
and we observed that, I think it was last year or 23, that the police cut down on Klansmen. They arrested over 20 of them. I think they convicted several. But the fact of the matter is that these gangs are so well planted in Spanish Town that it is going to take decades to uproot them.
And I want to disagree with that.
Yes?
Sorry. Yes, Desmond, thank you for the background. But Councillor Douglas, before you come in, Desmond, when you say aligned, we've heard that over the years. What does aligned mean?
The Klansman gang is linked to the PNP, and the one other gang is linked to the JLP.
And link mean what? And link translates into what?
Meaning that they are controlled by the political parties.
I know, Desmond. I beg to differ with that statement.
All right. Well, go ahead, Councillor Douglas.
I beg to differ in that I would like to know what evidence you have of same to say whether Klansman or one other gang is aligned to any party. Have you ever heard the leader of any of those gangs saying that they're PNP or JLP?
I don't have to hear them. I don't have to hear them say that.
Let him answer, Mr. Douglas. Councillor Douglas. Let him answer. Go ahead, Desmond.
No, I don't. They don't. You expect them to come out and say that?
But hold on. Then if somebody don't say something that you're assuming.
No, I am not assuming that that one order. So, Councillor, let me ask you a question. You don't know that the Klansman gang was linked to the PNP? You don't know that?
No, sir, I'm not aware of that.
And you don't know that the one other gang is linked to the JLP?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, all right, okay. All right.
And I'm asking you, have you ever heard the police saying?
I'm losing Councillor Douglas, man. I'm so sorry. I don't know what has happened to his is happening to his Desmond. One of the concerns I've had, and you Councillor Douglas, we don't know why we're losing you so much.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm here.
Yeah. One of the concerns, Desmond, before Councillor Douglas continue, because Councillor, we're going to come back to the opportunities that you were speaking about.
But
One of the concerns I have, Desmond, over the years is these gangs, people saying, just like you are saying, they are linked. I've heard senior police officers suggest that, but I've never heard the political leadership, and I don't know if I missed this anywhere along the way, of either of the political parties saying, we have no relations with these gangs. They are not linked for us, they are not attached to us, they're not supported by us, and we just want these gangs crushed. Desmond, you have followed more of the crime. Have you heard that?
No, I don't hear that. I don't hear political parties in Jamaica dissociating themselves or saying that they are linked to gangs. I don't hear that.
That's not true, Desmond. That's not factual.
What?
Councillor Douglas, you have to do better than that.
Did you hear, hold on, did you hear the JLP have linked themselves to the shower posse? Have you heard the JLP linking themselves to the shower posse? You ever heard that?
Councillor?
Have you ever heard that, Councillor? Have you ever heard the PNP linking themselves to Matthews Lane?
No, he's not hearing. I don't, Councillor, I don't know. You've got to watch you've got to watch. I don't know what's happening to Councillor Douglas. We have a rough time with him. No, Desmond. So, and that's a big part of the issue. The issue is that over the years we have heard it openly said, and Councillor Douglas is challenging whether that saying is true, that the one other gang is connected to the JLP and the Klansman gang is connected to the PNP in Spanish Town. My concern, as I say about it, is that neither of the two political parties has stamped under those accusations and said, bring the proof, or we're not involved with them, or we're cutting that out, or neither of the gangs.
You remember that? You remember?
I have never heard, and let me state this, standing on the platform of the People's National Party, you would have heard our leaders, right, at all times disassociating themselves from gang and gang members. You would have heard the People's National Party. And I've also heard the Prime Minister and his team to encouraging the police to do what they need to do to bring all gangs to justice. We have seen Parliament putting in place different legislation to curtail gangs, the anti-gang legislation, etc. So let us not say that, Desmond. You're being disingenuous by saying that.
Mr. Douglas, we're not hearing you so well. We're hearing you, but it's not so well. But let me just ask you this again, because Desmond raised it. Have you heard the JLP condemn any suggestion that they are aligned to the one other gang, or the PNP, your party, condemn any suggestion that they are aligned or they are attached or they are supportive of the Klansman?
On several fronts, I have heard both political parties condemning the actions of gangs. Since last week, I've heard the Prime Minister himself condemning the actions and encouraging the police to do whatever it is to bring normalcy to Spanish Town. I've heard Mark Golding and all our other colleagues saying this at all times. I've never heard anybody from the political ilk, be JLP or PNP, saying
the leaders,
anything.
Mr. The leaders before them, Prime Minister Manley, Prime Minister Siaga, Prime Minister Golding, they have all condemned gangs. All of them have called.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Prime Minister Pattison, Prime Minister Pushes, all of them have condemned gangs.
Then how alignment?
What I am saying is that it is a known fact in Jamaica that the political parties are aligned to gangs over the years. It's not.
It is touted
it is not,
and it is said, but we have no evidence of same.
We don't have any evidence of it.
No.
I don't know what you are talking about.
Well,
so tell me something.
I would like to learn. I'm a student, I would like to learn from you, Desmond.
You ever heard about Matthews Lane?
Yes, I do.
What do you know about it?
I went to school downtown at a little place called St. Annie's, so you don't have to say anymore.
No, I would like to know what you know about Matthews Lane.
I can tell you from the days when Cow was there, was there, until others would have come and succeed who is there. Tell me what you want to know.
No, you don't know that is a section of Kingston. That is aligned to the People's National Party.
So because a section of Kingston is aligned to a political party and gives strong support, it means that the leaders there are in bed with the dance?
Sir, I don't think you are living in Jamaica.
Where am I living?
Mr. Douglas, it is important to me.
The JLP was not aligned to Claudius Massop.
I am not aware of that.
You're not aware of that? You are not living in Jamaica. You are not living in Jamaica.
Of the JLP.
You are not living. You are not living in Jamaica. You are not living in Jamaica, sir.
What I want to talk about today are the solutions for Spanish Town. How do we move forward? And one of the problems we're having.
And Councillor Douglas, we invited you here to also talk about that. But believe me, it is you as I gather that you're a serious prospective leader. Not meaning necessarily that you're going to be mayor or you're going to be chairman of the council, but you're a prospective leader in the local government system.
Mm-hmm.
You must be able to understand that there are some of us in Jamaica who believe that the web or the association between the political parties and gunmen and gangs has gone on for years, and that the garrisons, the political arrangement in the garrisons which feed and support dons is something that needs to be crushed, and that the political party leaders would do well to start by saying clearly, I am not a part of, and my party doesn't support X gang or Y gang. As soon as it comes up, as soon as it is being debated.
I am siding with you on this, and to say that is why when the People's National Party had power, we came with so many anti-gang legislation. We are the party that would have charted and led more legislation against crime and violence in this country than any other party.
Boy, Councillor, I'm not impressed. Go ahead. Oh, why are we losing him so much? I see some comments coming from Mr. Allen, Mr. Palmer, and where I am structured. The ladies who normally help us with those. Joshua, I hope you can help us. Joshua, hope you can help us. Cut and paste them back on the screen. I'm so sorry we lose. We are missing Mr. Douglas so often. Mr. Allen, we're going to take your thing. Go ahead, Desmond. Desmond.
One of the things that we must have, and is honest. We need honest political debate.
I agree with you. I agree
we
with you.
need that, because one of the things that we have to admit. Listen, the problems facing Jamaica right now, political, social, and economic problems, can only be laid at the feet of two parties, the PNP and the JLP. We must remember, when we are going to talk about politics in Jamaica, we must remember that since 1944, only two parties have formed government in Jamaica, the PNP and the JLP. And therefore, they are the ones who have been responsible for our affairs for 80 odd years. And therefore, when we are talking about the ills facing the country, we cannot pretend as if both parties are not involved. They must take blame, and they are the ones who must come to the table with clean hands and some honest discussion. Said, okay, those things were in the past. Now we are going forward, and we are not going to be involved in these things.
And a gentleman like Councillor Douglas, who has been, how long have you been a councillor now, Councillor Douglas?
13 years, but I have been involved in the process for 30 years. You have
been involved for 30 years.
Yes.
And somebody like you who is looked forward to as the next generation of leadership must be honest about what is there. I mean,
and I am totally frank. And
because in Spanish Town, sir, Spanish Town, I'll see some of the comments here. Maybe you can't see them and I can't even handle them today. But making a clear link between politics and the violence in Spanish Town. And you are in Spanish Town, you go to council in this middle of Spanish Town, and you must understand, or you should understand by now, that party politics is a big part of the violence in Spanish Town.
Hold on, let me ask Councillor Douglas. Councillor, do you know Franklin, what is his name? He was killed by the police in Clarendon.
Not Bulby you're talking, no.
Not Bulby, man. No, Bulby is one order.
Is one order, okay. No, name escapes me now. But go on and ask, what's his name? It might come to you.
You know, while I hear the challenges that Spanish Town is having, I'd love to talk about some of the solutions that can be ventilated from this podcast also.
Go ahead, sir.
Right? Currently, one of the greatest challenges Spanish Town is having is that the people to police ratio is too wide. Let me start by saying that. Right? So we need to have more police stations, more boots on the ground.
Okay, you are saying the policing, that you don't have enough police in Spanish Town.
The people to police ratio is too wide, yes.
Okay.
And
we have lost him again. We have lost him, Franklin.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you now.
Why are we losing you? I don't know why. Go ahead. We won't interrupt you right now.
Happening with the mic. Hello?
Yes, Councillor Douglas, we are hearing you.
Yeah, man. So what are the steps that are being taken to make sure that we can alleviate this problem? Currently, there's a new police station being built on the Spanish Town bypass, as you're aware, right? I'm not sure if you're aware. 2, we have a modern correctional facility that is going to be built in Heartlands, which is we call a new prison that is coming to Heartlands, right? To help with rehabilitation. We see the Green Acres police station coming where we can actually get the chance to put more boots on the ground and to deal with the social fabric or the social ills that are occurring on the ground. So that's one of the areas that we are working in.
This is most frustrating. It's a great frustration. I apologize to you viewers. I don't know. Councillor Douglas, something is wrong with your system, man.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting there.
All right, okay. I'm saying that I noticed that you started to talk about the police and the corrections department, and then you talked about them being able to handle the social. And I was going to ask you whether the social ills in Spanish Town, whether the problems that Spanish Town has, can simply be solved by the police, because the police were saying last week they can't solve it.
It can be solved by the police only. And the people have to understand that the problems that we're having in Spanish Town is not just a security matter. There are other social issues that need to be dealt with by central government. And I wouldn't come here and lie to you about that. And we have a very far way to go.
And let's make some of them concrete. Up to now, you don't have a public transport depot.
Of course, we have a bus depot in Spanish.
There's a bus depot for
You want a proper transportation center.
We're talking about a proper transportation. We're not talking about the government buses.
And from the
We're talking about where taxis and the buses can park all over in people's gas station now, in plazas, in whatever. That's what we're talking about.
You know, when I hear you, but you must understand that governance and government, everything can't be happening at one time, right? Things take time, it won't happen simultaneously. However, there are other aspects of Spanish Town that is growing positively that we can look at too while I speak to you. I spoke to you about the mixed use of housing development that are happening in Spanish Town. I spoke to you about Brunswick Avenue. I spoke to you about...
No, tell us about it. There's housing development coming for Spanish Town. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, man, several housing development. And I stated earlier that the highest infrastructural applications we have had is within the last 30. We have seen Innswood, which is a new scheme in Spanish Town, Silverstone, which is a new scheme in Spanish Town, the Orchard. We have seen a chicken company, right? One of our chicken company investing close to $1 billion in Spanish Town in the last couple of weeks in one of
CB chicken.
Huh?
Chicken.
Yes.
CB chicken, yes. And you're talking about essentially the outskirts of Spanish Town, which we can, for all purposes, can consider to be Spanish.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
We're talking about a medical company who have invested close to $1 billion too in Spanish Town off the bypass there, right? We're talking about several banks coming into Spanish Town, fast food chains that were not there before, a mixed-use housing scheme now where we're turning agricultural land into residential lots. So it is actually pregnant with great possibilities, as I stated to you before.
Scheme is where are you talking about?
But what is going to be done to uproot the donmanship in the community?
All right, let me ask you something, sir. We talk about donmanship. If it is that the problem was not being solved, but probably not at the pace that society wanted to be, all the developments I'm talking about, do you believe those could be going on in an area that is as well you're preaching anarchy and preaching this township? I think we are...
Well, you would possibly have 10 times what is there, because you possibly have 10 times what is there, councillor.
No, man, I believe we're ballooning the thing in an area that it ought not to be looked at that way. And I'm a businessman who ply my trade there on a daily basis.
Yes.
Right? I'm also a local government practitioner within the same domain, and I am telling you that Spanish Town has changed and is changing into the realm of...
I agree. I would agree with you that things are changing. You know, the donmanship is not as powerful as it used to be, but it is still widespread, and it still has a lot of influence. You saw what happened last week and heard what the people were saying. You saw it. It was this was not a make-up story. That the people still are subdued to this type of system, right? And violence, extortion is still a feature in Spanish Town, right?
Councillor, one of our viewers is saying you have a chance to condemn gang violence and to separate your party from it.
I saw what Mr. Palmer wrote, yes, and of course I am separating the People's National Party and myself from all gangs and gang violence within Spanish Town. And of course we don't stand with any gang. We stand with law and order, and we will always say that. We stand on the platform of law and order, and that has always been the premise of the People's National Party.
Tell me, councillor, has anybody ever come to you to say to you personally that, you know, I know that politicians give out gun in a while, councillor? You let off any piece of iron?
No, I've never, and let me state that my division is a little division called Waterford.
Yes,
and contrary to what is being said, I have never seen or heard that before. Never.
Yeah, never. I appreciate that. Councillor, can you tell me, with regard to I have something on my phone here, with regard to the dirtiness, how dirty Spanish Town is, the poor garbage collection system that your mayor has spoken about. What has been done about that?
I'm happy
The way Spanish Town,
I am happy.
dirty place, you know.
Yeah, man, I'm happy that you stated that, because I am perturbed about it. As you're aware that solid waste NSWMA is responsible for garbage collection in Spanish Town. The municipal corporation does not collect garbage, but we make representation because a part of our taxes goes towards the NSWMA. And I personally will tell you that I believe they're doing a very poor job. So I stand with you with that.
I know your mayor has suggested that garbage collection should be returned to parish council. Is that part of your recommendation?
I strongly agree with the mayor 110%. There is no way you could be dealing with waste management for a country and your office is in somewhere close to New Kingston or at Half a Tree. You need to come on the ground, know what is happening, and put your head office even at the landfill where the garbage is being dumped. I believe that the persons responsible for garbage collection, they are far away from reality.
Councillor, I need to ask you also about this. You are the finance chairman, are you?
Yes, I am.
Chairman of finance for the council, which means you chair the leading committee in the council.
Yes.
Markets. That's a disgraceful situation again in Spanish Town. Why haven't you guys erected a market for Spanish Town over all these years?
Well, it is something that is long overdue, because when you go there, look, man, we have to be honest, you know. It is what it is, right?
We were told that you are one of the honest people, and you're even celebrating some credit for. So we expect you to be honest. So
yeah,
go ahead.
So let me just simply state that we are not proud of the Spanish Town market, but a lot of things that we would like to do, we can't do it because of lack of funding, right? And remember that a market is not a profit center. A market is what we call a loss leader for any parish council. So in order for us to build a market that everybody would like, we would have to get support from central government. And I'm going to say this without water in my mouth. A lot of the ideas that are penned to central government, the fact that the mayor sits on the opposite side, we don't get the support that we would have liked to get. And it's a fact.
In other words, when the central government is one party and the local government versus the other party, that's problem.
Your brilliant ideas and suggestions remain your brilliant ideas and suggestions. You will get no funding.
What? Why was so many police at the council there week before last?
From what I was told, that there was a raid on the council by Mocha, and it is stated that, and this is no secret again, that from their intel, there were illegal activities being carried out there by staff and their associates, and as such, Mocha raided, and it is in their right to do so.
So who was arrested?
No one was arrested.
Okay.
No one was arrested. People were questioned and sent home.
Okay.
Councillor, you know something you said about the fact the market's being loss leaders.
Yes.
And therefore you can't get any financing to develop a market properly.
To develop the town, an extension the town, as though we would have loved to develop the town. Because if it is not seen as the wish of central government, or it is not possible for them to say, yes, we did this, then they will tell you as what they're doing with Portmore, to hold you hostage and tell you, vote for me and we will do this for you. We will give you a hospital when we are in power. We will give you this when you become a parish. So these are some of the things that we are faced with as councillors. And I want to be really frank to say it needs...
Councillor.
Yes,
Councillor.
Yes,
you know that is something that we must cleanse from the politics.
I am hoping that we'll get a chance.
Because you see, I can both parties. The PNP has done that too, you know.
Yes, of course.
But you can probably cite an example.
You're not aware of what, Councillor?
what he said the PNP did, and I'm open for learning.
No, the PNP has made political promises. Political promises is part of election campaign in Jamaica. Isn't that so?
Globally.
Councillor, before we run out of time, and because we're going to move on to that, because Desmond has some issues on police shootings and so on.
Yes.
But Councillor, do you believe, would you accept that the parish councils, including yours, are significantly underperforming given all the resources and where they fall in the political structure? That they are underperforming, and part of that underperformance is what we see in the communities where they operate.
Well, let me see it by saying that yes, we are underperforming because the resource that the parish council is getting is woefully inadequate. Let me state by saying that a lot of the functions of the parish council, we are seeing it now being taken away or being removed from the parish council and being placed in the hands of parliamentarians who are politicking with the lives of our people. And I can cite several examples. Local government roads or parochial roads that should be fixed by the parish council and their engineering department. Those monies are now being segued under different names and programs, parks and reach and all of that. The drain cleaning, all waste cleanup, etc. Those functions are silently being taken away from the parish council, giving the member of parliament these fundings to do work that the parish council should be doing. Remember, what they are doing is not necessarily the will and pleasure of the people, but from what I am seeing now, it's as if central government is spending money to stay in power, but not to really make the people feel as if we are the bosses.
Yes, is election here, sir.
Silly season coming up. Right? I was in my community this morning. I saw some guys from the NAA doing a road. And when I went to inquire about the road, which I was the member of parliament who was of the opposite side had told me about, I went and I said, how is it that you have 15 people working here, sweeping with a broom and shovel, and nobody comes from the community? Is it that you could not employ one person from the community to buy a 2 pound of chicken back and a pound of rice? But guess what? Everybody was in green shirts, green vests.
Because I don't believe in that. Giving somebody some employment to buy 2 pound of flour.
No, I'm just being low.
As a reason for their employment, you know.
No, man, it's just
employment is not social welfare, you know. Right.
I know.
And I don't even know that the guys who work need to talk to any councillor or to an MP.
I don't hear you.
Is another story for another time.
And I'm willing to join you on that.
Councillor, I appreciate it and I thank you very much. Right. And I hope you handle the financial affairs of the St. Catherine Parish Council in a municipal corporation.
And I want you to spend some more time, Councillor, learning about the Klansman gang.
The Klansman. Who are they aligned to again? Which side?
All right.
You will find out. Research that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, sir. Well, that will be my research for the week.
Douglas.
Okay.
Appreciate it, sir.
God bless. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and thanks to your viewers and subscribers.
All right, we don't have a lot of time left. We thank Councillor Douglas. He's called the governor, and he's in charge of the finance committee of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. There's a lot of comments coming in, and I'm sorry that I'm not as savvy as it to people who normally handle it. Now, I want to touch very quickly, because we're talking about criminal behavior and so on. The Commissioner of Police says people who are questioning police shootings have their subjects who they must question and their priorities misplaced. He said these civic groups and individuals must tell the people who are picking up guns and attacking the police to put the guns down and not challenge the police. He says he's not allowing the police, telling the police to just go out there and allow people to shoot them down, give them all their training and their resources, and so on. Desmond, one of
the things
it doesn't matter what firepower they have. It doesn't matter how bad they think they are, we are coming. So this call to police to reduce fatal shooting, it's wrongly directed. It ought to be directed at criminals who raise their gun. Because you will not get me to tell my police not to pursue criminals. We're going. What I would love these agencies and these persons who are talking about fatal shooting to do is to tell criminals, do not raise the gun at the police. I don't spend millions and millions of dollars in 2024, millions of dollars each month training my OST, my fighting force, so that they don't lose a battle against criminals. I don't train them and invest so much money so that criminals can take them out. We will be pursuing criminals wherever they are. It doesn't matter what firepower they have.
Desmond, we're going to leave it there. Desmond, I apologize to you because I know you have sensible and relevant comments, but the time is running out on us and we're going to come back to it next week. Desmond, I promise you, because I've been asked by others to discuss this. Finally, I promised last week to start my midweek podcast as of last week. Now we were ready and set to go, and then having called names, I had called some names from the St. Anne. A strange event happened on the North Coast. Let's just say we'll tweet the podcast. It's about Ocho Rios, and Ocho Rios descending into a slum, and carry it this week. So look out for the Frankly Speaking podcast, the midweek edition as of this week. Thank you all for joining us. Special thanks to Councillor Fenley Douglas, the governor, and thanks to our faithful Desmond Richards, Winnie, and Mary were not here with us this week. Thanks also to Joshua Black Media Services. Remember to subscribe to the podcast. I am Frankly McKnight, and thank you for watching. Until then.